New look, new glasses, new books. It's time for a book haul. Hey everyone, how are you doing today? I am trialling some new glass frames and honestly I cannot see anything right now because these are just like plastic glass lenses. They're not the actual prescription, so I'm just testing it out to see how they look on the camera and if they look alright. Although I am noticing they're a little bit flimsy and already, and like my hair, every time it moves it's pushing them forward, so we'll see. We'll see. But I wasn't going to do a book haul. I've never really done one. I don't think I've ever done one on this channel, and I'm not usually a big fan of them. But since Christmas I have amassed a fair few books, and I just thought I would go through and share them with you. Some of these are books that I've had before and are currently going to be rereads. Others I've never read. One thing I will preface, most of these books are very well known. So some of the books I'm not going to go through the blurb and I'm not going to explain what they're all about. Some of them I will, because they're either lesser known or I myself have forgotten. So I'm just going to share with you. These are the ones that I got over Christmas. So we got House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I got The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong, which is book 2 in the These Violent Delights duology. And upstairs I also have Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson. And what else did I get for Christmas? The Gilded Cage, which is book 2 in the Prison Healer series by Lynette Nonny, which I'll be buddy reading with my friend Mel. And then the only one that I got, this one wasn't for Christmas, this was at a market that I was at just around that time. And I picked it up because it was the stall directly opposite me and it was £3. And that was The Ice Sea Pirates by Frida Nilsson. This is also a translated book. And it says, ice, wolves, mermaids, thieves, nothing will stop Ciri setting out to rescue her sister from the fearsome ice sea pirates. So this one's a middle grade. And it does have little illustrations throughout, which I think is really lovely. And the art is really pretty. And yeah, I think this one was Swedish? Stockholm, Sweden. Yeah, so it's translated from Swedish. And yeah, it's middle grade fantasy. And again, like I said, I just picked it up on a whim. Wasn't sure if I really wanted it or not, but I thought I would give it a go. And I have not read it yet. But those were the books that I got for like Christmas. And then in January was my birthday, and I was given some money by my dad and my stepmom, and we went charity shopping, and I picked up a massive stack. If you've seen on Twitter, I had a stack of about 10 or 11 books and it all came to less than £4. And I don't have all of them with me. I did leave some at my dad's, so in future when I go for visits I've got some books there that I can just sit and read instead of having to carry books around with me all the time. And a few of them I've already unhauled, which is fantastic. And there's a couple again that I left. But I've got The Thursday Murder Club from Richard Osman, which is currently upstairs in my TBR pile. And we also have one that I will be talking about in my February wrap-up, which is Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. Again, I feel like these are books that if you don't know about, you've probably at least heard of and have a vague idea. Unfortunately, Crazy Rich Asians, which I will go into in more detail in my wrap-up, did DNF within the first 3 pages, but I will go into that in another video. But the books that I also got were these 3, and we have Shadows on the Moon by Zoe Marriott. And this is one I'd never heard of, but I was very attracted to the design of the cover and the spine. And it's a fantasy, and it says, Suzumi is a shadow weaver. Her illusions allow her to be anyone she wants, a fabulous gift for a girl desperate to escape her past. But who is she really? A heartbroken girl of noble birth? A drudge scraping by in a great house's kitchens? Or Yue, the most beautiful courtesan in the moonlit lands? Whatever her true identity, she is determined to capture the heart of a prince and use his power to destroy those who murdered her family. Nothing will stop her, not even love. And I'm like, that's my kind of book. So I picked this one up for £2. I think this was actually the most expensive book of the day, was this one. Most of the rest of my books came to like 50p each. We then have Wonderland, A Year of Britain's Wildlife Day by Day by Brett Westwood and Stephen Moss. I have read Stephen Moss when I was doing my degree and I love his style of writing. And basically this is a non-fiction and it just takes you through every single day of the year. And it takes you through like all of Britain's wildlife. And you've got things like the natterjack toad, peacock butterfly, the goshawk, goldfinches, and it just takes through what animals are around through each month. And it's a really beautiful idea, and I've seen similar ones, but I wanted to pick this up for a while and now I have it. And again, I just really like the cover on this. I think it's very pretty, and as an ecologist it's really cool, and I'm gonna do this through the year. And as it is March the 1st, I'm going to start it today, and every day I'm going to read the date that it is and see what's going on with the wildlife in the country. So I will be starting this in a little while. And then the last one that I've got on me right now that's not at my dad's, I will see if I can remember off the top of my head what some of the others were, was The Boneless Mercies by April Genevieve Tuchoke, I don't know. And this one says, this is a story of mercies and witches, of reeds and thorns, of women and giants. Frey, Ovi, Juniper and Runa are boneless mercies, death traders hired to kill quickly, quietly and mercifully. It is a job for women and women only. Men will not do this sad, dark work. Frey has no family, no home, no fortune, and yet her blood sings a song of glory. I also got a Steve Irwin book that was written by his wife, and it was like a autobiography all about him, and a book of poems that I've been making my way through, and I can't for the life of me remember any of the others, but you know, if you go onto my Twitter you will see it. What else? Oh, I also got Angel Fall. That was it. Birthday. Angel Fall by Susan E. This is a book that I love. I've read the whole series. I read all the trilogy about 8 years ago or something like that. When was this one? I think I got it the year it was 2012. So yeah, it was about 8 years ago that I read it now. And I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. And I know I've read the first book a couple of times now, so I'm going to do another reread of the trilogy. And for those of you who don't know, this is set in a post-apocalyptic world where the angels have descended and taken over the world. And it says, it has been 6 weeks since the angels returned to Earth and destroyed the world as we know it. When they fly away with a helpless little girl, her sister Penryn will do anything to get her back. And oh my god, Pen is amazing and Rafe is amazing, and this whole series is just fantastic. From what I can remember, I might not like it now that I'm 31, but this is one that I cannot wait to reread. And then we have my latest haul, which this little stack I got about 2 weeks ago when I first moved into my uncle's house. I just wanted to go into town, and I kind of thought to myself that I wasn't expecting much from the town, and it disappointed a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. I did pick up 3 books. The first one that I got is Blackberry Blue and Other Fairy Tales by Jamila Gavin. I'm pretty sure this is middle grade because it's like all fairy tales and it's got lots of illustrations in it. So we have like these kind of illustrations in here that I think are very, very pretty, and I'm looking forward to reading this. And this is Here are 6 magical stories to thrill and enchant you. Watch Blackberry Blue, you rise from the bramble patch. Follow Amika the Pathfinder on his mission to save a lost king. Join Princess Desire as she gallops across the Milky Way on her jet black horse. These beautifully written and original stories will delight readers of all ages, and the stunning illustrations by Richard Collindridge will take your breath away. And from what I can tell, all of the characters in this, the main characters are BIPOC characters. So again, it's got that fantasy rep that you don't see a lot of. And I'm very, very, very much looking forward to getting into this one. We then had The Ninth Child by Sally Magnuson. And again, this is one that's not really usually my kind of thing, because it's a historical, I can't work out if it's meant to be a thriller or not, but it's definitely a historical novel. And it says, Loch Katrine Waterworks 1856, a highland wilderness fast becoming an industrial wasteland, no place for a lady. Young doctor's wife Isabel Aird, grieving for the loss of her many unborn children, finds unexpected freedoms among these hills echoing with gunpowder blasts day and night. With new life quickening within her again, Isabel can only wait, but a darker presence has also emerged from the gunpowder smoke, and he is waiting too. So I feel like this one's going to be a bit darker and is definitely an adult. And like I said, it was mainly the cover that attracted me, with these thistles and with it being set in Scotland, and I'm going to be moving to Scotland. I was a little bit like, gotta try it at least. I apologise if you can hear like random banging and knocking. For some reason next door it is making a load of noise, and they have a parrot that occasionally just decides to bang itself against the wall, and it's really annoying, and they don't ever try to stop it. So that's annoying. And then the final one we have is Those Above by Daniel Polanski. And again, I know they say don't judge a book by its cover, but I'm judging. And this one is tall, strong, perfect. For 3,000 years, those above have ruled over their human subjects. From the glittering palaces of their eternal city, they enforce their will with fire and sword. 25 years ago, mankind mustered an army and rose up against them, only to be slaughtered in a terrible battle. Hope died that day, but hatred survived. Whispers of another revolt are beginning to stir in the hearts of the oppressed. A woman widowed in the war, who has dedicated her life to revenge. A general, the only man to ever defeat one of those above in single combat, summoned forth to raise a new legion. And a boy killer, who rises from the gutter to lead an uprising in the capital. Those Above is the first of an extraordinary new fantasy epic series. Oh, don't need to read that. And I just thought it sounded intriguing. I'm always a big fan of like having a group of people who are completely like different to each other. I always find it really interesting when they all come together and seeing how the dynamics are, and usually you get really good dynamics and they end up becoming like really great, like almost a family. So I'm quite interested, and I've not really read a lot of like heavy war books, so again, I'll give it a go and we shall see. And then the final section in this haul are my Waterstones or pre-order. Yeah, these are all pre-orders. Through these in the order that they arrived, if I can remember the order that they arrived. So the first one was the Bone Spindle by Leslie Vedder. This is actually my January most anticipated new release. And it's, I think it's a Sleeping Beauty. It's definitely a fairy tale retelling, but you've got when expert treasure hunter I don't know if it's Fi or Fee, so I'm going to say Fee. Fee pricks her finger on an old spindle. She awakens the ghost of Prince Briar Rose, who believes a single kiss will break his century-long sleeping curse. To try and free him, Fi joins forces with Shane, an axe-wielding huntswoman, and embarks on a perilous journey to the Forest of Thorns. Together they will face dark magic, enchantments, and nightmarish beasts. But perhaps the most dangerous of all are the mysterious witch who captures Shane's heart and the ghostly prince who believes in true love at any cost. I think it's quite cool. It's got sapphic romance by the sounds of things in there, and it kind of seems to blend fairy tale with nightmare. So I'm looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be really, really good. The next book that arrived was Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. This one actually came out last year, but I didn't get it when it first came out, and quite honestly I always get this and the, I can't remember what it's called, the Blade something by Trisha Levenseller, because they look and sound very, very similar. So I kind of got them confused and I accidentally ordered this, but now I'm excited for it. I didn't really like the reddish pink colour on the book. I would have rather the sprayed edges be in this yellow, so it actually felt more synchronised, but I'll give it a go. So with this one, it just says, a squire, the survivor of a failed quest, an immortal, timeless and unfathomable, an assassin, skilled and heartless, an old sorceress holding secrets behind her teeth, and a pirate's daughter, the ward's last hope. The heroes are gone, but the fight to save the world has only just begun. So again, this is one of those stories where it's like a ragtag group of people come together to save the world. So I'm excited for this one, but it is a bit semi-chunky, I would say. This one's like nearly 600 pages, so I'm a little bit like, ugh. Although saying that, 2 months in a row now I've read an 800-page book, so I seem to be doing well at long books this year. The next book is Malice, which is another sapphic book and is another Sleeping Beauty, if I remember. Yeah, so I've got 2 Sleeping Beauty kind of retellings, which is great. And again, this is one that came out last year, but I missed out on it last year, so I got the paperback. And it says, once upon a time, a wicked fairy cursed a line of princesses to die. You've heard this before, haven't you? The handsome prince, true love's kiss. Utter nonsense. No one in Briar cares what happened to our princess. I thought I didn't either, and then I met her. Princess Aurora, last heir to the throne, the future queen her realm needs. One who isn't bothered that I am the dark grace, abhorred for the mysterious dark magic that runs in my veins. I want to help her, but with less than a year before the curse kills her, any future I might imagine for us is quickly disappearing, and she can't stand to kiss yet another idiotic prince. After all, we all know how this story ends. Aurora is the beautiful princess, and I am the villain. Enemies to lovers, guys. Forbidden romance. Dark retelling. Sapphic. Next up, we have one that I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on because it's so far into the series. Is it a me video without Nalini? But this is Last Guard by Nalini Singh, and I've got the ebook. I've read this one already, so I will be rereading this as part of my rereading of the Side Changeling series. And this one basically follows, you've got Kanto, Makant, and Priya? Is it Priya? Payal Rao. And basically these two are both what's called an anchor in the Cynet system, and some stuff has been going on and they are basically in danger and they end up coming together to work together. And that's all I can really say because spoilers. But this one, again, released last year, but now I've got the paperback. And then the most recent one, which I have read and I will be doing a review of in my wrap up, and I have serious thoughts about this one, is House of Sky and Breath, which is book 2 in the Crescent City series by Sarah J Maas. So again, not going to read the blurb. Probably don't need to read the blurb because if you're interested, you already know what it's going to be about. If you're not interested, you're not going to care. Let's face it. So that is my not too big but still pretty reasonable, like last 3 month long haul. Let me know in the comments if there are any of these that you have read and what your thoughts were. Also let me know if there are any that you plan on reading this year. Maybe we can do a bit of a buddy up. And yeah, I hope you're good. Hope you're staying safe. And until the next time, see ya.